Hey, you're watching Music for Miles, your best resource for all things guitar and music. Today on the channel, we have the Lava Genie. This is a smart guitar sampler, not necessarily a guitar, not necessarily a keyboard, somewhere in between. We're gonna do an in-depth look, check out the features, specifications, quality of this instrument. I'm gonna let you know, is this worth $3.99 or is it an overpriced toy? Let's check it out. All right, this is the Lava Genie. Really cool looking modern instrument. This is quote unquote a smart guitar. Like I said in the intro, it's not necessarily a guitar, not necessarily a keyboard, somewhere in between. The best description I can give you, my honest description, would be a sampler with the ergonomics of a guitar. Who is this instrument for and who is it not for? I think that's an appropriate way to kick off this video so I could save you guys a lot of time if you don't want to watch the full thing. So who is this instrument not for? This is not going to be for professional touring musicians. This is a great, fun, creative tool. However, there is no MIDI capabilities. You can't connect this to your keyboard and use it as a controller or like a keytar, anything to that extent. And there's a lot of limitations, and it is tied to the app, the Lava Plus app. So you do have to keep that in mind. All right, so if it's not for the touring professional musician, but by all means, a professional could definitely play with this and have fun. But I think this is more geared towards the beginners. Someone who's looking to find their rhythm, how to press buttons along with a rhythm. And for those singer-songwriters or singers who don't know how to play guitar, but want to have some kind of tool where they can push a couple buttons, get those chords going and sing along. So first, let's start with the controls. Taking a look here, you do have a multifunction button. If you press and hold this button, it turns on the instrument. If you move it back and forth, it controls your volume. And if you press it in once, it changes your presets. Next to that, you do have a mic input and you do have a USB-C input, which is going to be used for charging the smart guitar. Moving to the bottom here, there is a 1/4 inch input. That is where you're going to connect your instrument cable, your TRS cable into your sound system if you like to plug this in. Moving to the front, here is where you have your controls. Now you do have 2 buttons up top, 1, 2, then you get 3 on the bottom here. So if you want to think of Guitar Hero, it's a lot like Guitar Hero. You have that little like back and forth controller. The cool thing though is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options you can assign to the smart controller, which is great. Now moving up, you do have this nice fretboard here. You have 7 frets total with 3 buttons per fret. This little button here that has the Lava logo is your start and stop. Above that, it is your drum controls. There's a stop to stop the drum beat. The middle is to start the drum beat. And then on the left-hand side closest to you is going to change the actual beat itself. So you can have 2 different beats, start and stop it, get a little options. Now right above that is going to be your tempo pad. You can set the tempo of the song you want to play right there. So if you want it slower or faster, you don't need the app. You can do 100% of it independently using the touch controls here. Then again, moving above that, you do have your smart controls for the fretboard itself. You're going to have 7 frets and it will light up. Let's turn these lights off for a second here. So with the lights off, you can see this is very bright, and as you press each individual fret, it will light up as you go up the fretboard so you can see where you're at. Same thing with the touch controls here. As you touch them, they do light up. So everything is basically lit with LEDs on the side of the fretboard here. And then you do have like your little strum pad here as well that lights up. And those are the basic controls. I mean, aside from that, you do have a built-in speaker here. I believe this is your main speaker, and you do have a sub port that kind of goes along the body as well. As far as volume is concerned, this does get loud, but it's not going to get super loud. So, I mean, if you're outdoors trying to do, some kind of event or playing by yourself, doing a one-man band type situation, I would recommend bringing a more powerful PA and plugging in using the 1/4 inch output here. But if you're inside a house or in a small club or somewhere really compact, you can definitely use the volume of the instrument itself without plugging it in and be heard. And there is, like I mentioned, a mic input. So if you wanted to plug in a mic and use this to project your voice, you definitely can do that too. All right, so now let's go over how to use this instrument. So once it's fully charged, I recommend you fully charge this thing with a USB-C input on here. You turn it on and you're ready to go. There's a few different ways that you can play this instrument, starting with the smart controls here. So you do have a auto mode and you do have a creative mode. In auto mode, that basically activates the 2 buttons here, which you'll get mostly like arpeggiation and strumming if you want to assign it there. Most of the defaults are going to give you like individual notes going towards the neck, and then the button away from the neck is going to give you more of a strumming type pattern. So I have an acoustic model pulled up, and if I press the single button here and let's say fret the 5th fret, that's the button that's closest to the neck. And then if we do the right button on top, it's gonna do more strumming. And you can combine the two. So if you wanted to, so pretty cool, right? Gives you some options. All you have to do is press one button and you have 2 triggers here that you can get those sounds from. Now, if you want to go in creative mode, it unlocks 3 more buttons on the bottom. And to unlock it, you could use the app, or you can press the 3 buttons and 1 on top at the same time. Let's take a listen. You'll hear that little ding-ding. That means it went into creative mode. So now you can use these 3 buttons on the bottom to get different sounds, which you can assign, by the way, if you go into the preset. So here's the first one, here's the second, and the third. So you can get different types of rhythms. You pretty much assign whatever you want to these 5 buttons. If you want to do arpeggiation, strumming, sound effects, if you want to have like a palm mute or anything like that, you can assign it through the app. So let's take a look here. What does this button do with the big Lava logo? Well, that's your stop button. Above that, you do have your drum controls, stop, start, and the different drum beat. You get 2 different drum beats per preset. So let's go ahead and start the drum beat using the middle button. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, pretty easy, right? Now, if I press the far left button on the drum set, it's going to change the drum beat. Another cool feature here is if you hear, this is triggering the bass. So I'm not using the smart controls, I'm just using my finger, and it automatically is playing the bass for me. So if you want to do something like strum 1 chord and then have a bass line, you can do that as well. So let's try that. Bass only. Now there's one more thing I haven't gone over yet, and that is your strum bar or strum touch control, if you want to call it that. So I'm on the 5th fret here, which you can see lit up. And all you have to do is right in front of these white LEDs, right there, you see those white LEDs, you just strum. It's touch sensitive. Now I'll tell you right now, it's not perfect, so it takes a little getting used to, but if you wanted to, you can definitely kind of strum it like a guitar. So there are some more options with this fretboard here, which we're going to get into with the app. You can basically have 7 individual notes, or you can expand it and have 21 different notes. The only other control here we haven't gone over quite yet is your key change. Now it's on the back of the neck here. You get an up, a middle, and a down. You do have to go into the app to open that up and program it. So why don't we do that now? Let's check out the app. So the first thing you're gonna do is have to download the Lava Plus app. So once you're in the app, you're gonna see your presets up top. The preset I was just using was called Swifties. But below that, you do have your beats per minute here. So it's at 76 currently. That was the last tempo that I set manually. Let's say you're gonna play a song and you know the tempo. Hey, it's 120, let's say. So you can scroll through here and find 120. And then if you press the drum key, that's gonna be at 120. Now, while it's even playing, if you're jamming with some friends, you wanna increase the tempo. If it feels too slow, let's move it up to 128. Now it's faster. You can pretty much program it through the app, which is nice. You can also change the key here. So we're in C, D, E. Let's go to D. Now below that, let's go ahead and stop the drum beat. Below that is going to be your fingerboard. Like I said, there's 7 blocks by default, or you could turn it to 21 blocks. Now, if you go inside the customization, you can see here, this is the default. So before, if you just pressed anywhere on this first fret here, it was the same key, or it was the same note. Now we have 3 separate options. So same thing on the 2nd fret, 3 options. So if you wanted to kind of mix and match, you can now. So you can customize them if you click a little button here on the D. If I wanted to make this a D flat, or if I want to go up and make it an E flat as well. You do have kind of like, I guess, 2 notes that you can go up and down on per fret. So you can assign it and click confirm and change and mix and match these notes. Or there are some presets here. We got R&B, pop, and jazz. You can add more if you'd like. Just you have to put a name in there if you're gonna be adding them. So this is the jazz one here, which sounds pretty cool. So there you go. You can customize the fretboard itself. I will say it's a little hard to hit the right side of the fretboard. Sometimes it picks it up, sometimes it doesn't. So you gotta just make sure you're pressing down firmly and you know exactly where you are. Make sure you're accurate if you go into the 21 block mode. Let's go back to 7 block mode because that's much easier for singer-songwriters to use. Moving down, again, here's your options here for auto mode or creative mode. Either you can do it by doing the 4-key press, or you can use the app itself. Here's your key lock. So we're currently locked right now, but if you unlock it, hear that noise that it just made. Let's go ahead and strum on the 5th fret here. If I want to change the key, let's say I want to go down, you can use the little touchpad here on the back. Let's go down. Take a listen. Let's go down one more. So it should have just lowered me a few steps here. Now let's go back to the 5th fret. Let's go up. Went up one more. So pretty cool. If you want to change the key yourself, you can do that. I like to lock it for one reason, because when I go to the 1st fret, I keep touching the up button by accident. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that and use the app to control it. Here's your auto bass settings. So again, once you turn that drum beat on, you can do bass all by itself without pressing the smart keys down here. Let's listen. So I'm gonna leave that on because I absolutely love that feature. I think it adds a lot to this instrument. We do have lighting here. If you want to turn the LEDs bright or less bright, you can do that. So I mean, if you're in a dark room and it's too bright, kind of blinding you, you can still see it, but now it's gonna be a little more dim. Let's go to our sound settings. So there is some more things you can modify on here. There's the screen scratching sound. So if you listen here, that's what you hear with the guitar models. It sounds like your hands moving on actual strings. You can turn that on or off here. The preset switching sounds, like when you go between presets, let's take a listen what it sounds like. You hear that noise there? You can turn it on or off. You can turn it on or off with the speaker or the output individually, which is great. Same thing with the key change. You can turn that sound on or off. The creative mode, like if you listen here when I press all 4 buttons, you can turn that on or off. So it kind of gives you a little more customization here as well. One thing I need to disclose right up front, in the app, the Lava Plus app, if you want to play along with the songs, you have to have a subscription. It's $3.99 a month, I think, or $32 a year. I think they give you a discount. I signed up for the free trial. You can get 3 months for free if you guys want to try it out. Now, personally, I would love to have a free version available for those who are spending $400 on the instrument, but I can understand why they are charging for a subscription. So if you scroll down on the homepage here, you can see some of the hot chord charts this week. Let's go to some of the hot chord charts here. Sex on Fire. I think I know that one. Let's see if I can get this one. Let's download the current settings. It's now syncing the best settings for this song. All right, ready? Let's go. Lay where you're laying and don't make a sound. I know they're watching. They're watching. That's basically how it works. The whole song's on here and you can sing with your friends, family, get it down. All right, so let's go to my presets here. Now that I'm plugged into Pro Tools, let's hear what it sounds like completely on the output. So the instrument out, and I'm gonna choose the highest quality sample I found so far. So we're gonna start off with some drums, 3, some bass, we're at the final part of the video where I give you my honest and constructive feedback. We're gonna go over the goods, the bads, and what I recommend. Let's start with the goods. Now, this is a great tool for those who can't play guitar or keyboard and want something very easy to follow, have an intuitive app that has all kinds of songs, and will get people singing, get them used to how to transition different chords and how to play to a rhythm. Some really cool things about the instrument is the LED lights. This thing looks really cool. The little triggers here light up too as you touch them. So this thing looks modern, it looks futuristic, and even if you were doing some songs for your friends or family in a small living room, or if you plug the 1/4 inch out into a PA system and you're performing for people, you're gonna look like you're playing on a futuristic instrument. It's also nice that it has a built-in speaker that can get pretty loud, like surprisingly loud for how small it is. This is not very heavy, easy to travel with, comes with a great case, comes with a guitar strap and a charger. So let's start with some of the negatives that I experienced when I was recording. I put this thing through 2 weeks of testing. There has been many times where some of the buttons don't necessarily track correctly. So you have to make sure you're very meticulous with how you press the button. You have to get used to the pressure you have to put on the bottom buttons here. And this isn't necessarily like buttons you could press in. It's just like a rubber touchpad up here. So there's no like give or take like a standard button. If you push in, push out, there's no click or anything like that. Now, some other feedback that I have here. Again, most people, when they're spending $400 on an instrument, they don't want to get hit with the subscription price. Now, there's a lot of free stuff in the app. You get free tabs, by the way. So if you guys want tabs for an actual guitar, it's built into the app. But if you do want that full song library, it does cost money. And it depends on how many plays you have. I think you get 300 plays a month for $3.99, and then it kind of goes up from there. Or you could pay annually. I think it's $32.79, then 100 plus. Something I wasn't too fond of. And lastly, there's some really good sounds on here, like the pad that I was kind of creating here when I was doing my song direct in, sounded great. But within the library of the presets, there's some in there that don't sound that great. The quality for this channel is pretty high, and I did put this through the paces. I've had this for over 2 weeks. They did send it to the channel for free, but they did not pay me to create this video, and they're not telling me what to say. So that is my honest feedback. Would I consider this an instrument or would I consider this a toy? So for $3.99, I think it kind of serves both purposes. You can use it as a toy. I hand it off to my kids and they have fun for about an hour messing with it. Or you could put it in the hands of an actual musician who knows chord structure, knows how to sing, and it could be a creative tool. So it kind of serves both purposes. And if you guys want to start singing and developing your voice, but you don't necessarily know how to play guitar or keyboards, I think this will be a great instrument and tool for you guys to hone that in. All right, I'm Michael. This is Music for Miles. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. See ya.